he made fun of me, and I was like, well, this kid, man. I'm going to go home, and I'm going to learn everything I can about cars.
What's up, all you auto enthusiasts out there? Buckle up for a unique experience where we have custom vehicles and their owners share the spotlight in our studio. Have you ever seen a cool ride and wondered who the owner is or what the history is behind the build? On today's episode of Tailpipe Talk, we'll be speaking with Ben, who goes by benflowers_ on Instagram, and also hosts a podcast, Garage Noise, where Ben and his co-hosts talk about a wide variety of guy stuff from cars to guns. Make sure to give them a follow at Garage Noise Podcast on Instagram. But today, we'll get to know more about Ben and what inspired him to build his very cool 350Z. Ben, welcome to the show. How are you?
Good, good. That was way more professional than what we do. We just talk about like farts and stuff.
Farts and stuff, all right. We can cover that topic if you want to.
No, I'm good, man. It's a long journey over here, but
Yeah.
made it here. Glad this thing made it. So
Yeah, you were telling me earlier this is the longest drive it's made since a previous show, like a couple years ago, right?
yeah, since Tuned Originals. I never
That's right.
drive it.
That's right.
I drive my truck all the time, so just don't really feel like busting my back up every day again.
I hear you.
But this was my daily driver for 6 years.
Yeah.
And then I bought a truck a few years ago, and I've just been driving my truck ever since.
Well, before we jump into the whole car thing, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So my name's Ben. Just a car guy that everybody knows, but nobody knows. I roll a bunch of fenders all the time. That's what most people know me for, is rolling fenders. And then I'm a co-host on a podcast where we talk shit about a lot of people in the car community. We don't do it like that, but we talk about the bad stuff and the good stuff.
The good stuff, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, in my opinion, all the topics need to be covered. The good, the bad, the ugly, you know. Sometimes I think some people are too scared to talk about it sometimes, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I've gone full on where I've had like wars with like manufacturers and stuff like that. I got into a battle with the people that own Hot Import Nights now. Like, they know me.
That's right. And how did that come about?
So I'm friends with Wayne.
Yeah.
And Wayne was like one of the people that was originally part of Hot Import Nights.
Right.
And Wayne was no longer a part of Hot Import Nights, and I kind of noticed a trend where after he left, the Hot Import Nights car show kind of took a downturn pretty bad. And so I kind of started doing a little research, and I realized that the people that own it they're not in it for the right reasons. They're not in it for the same reason that Wayne was, at least, right?
Gotcha.
And it's just a money grab to them. And so I just decided to call them out on it one day. Didn't think anything would happen about it, but then they responded.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, okay, well, I'll respond. And not only will I respond, I'll respond with one of your original guys that was there.
Right.
So then I start getting an onslaught of feedback from the entire car community that people I've never met in my entire life, ranging from here to California, New York, everywhere that they do Hot Import Nights.
Yeah.
People are messaging me, and they're like, yeah, man, we know exactly what you're talking about. Like, we totally agree, all this stuff. And I was like, this is great.
So, and then have you settled that with Hot Import Nights? And
no, I mean, I think it's always going to be, I don't like them, they don't like me.
Yeah.
And they've verbally said that they don't like me.
Yeah.
To one of my partners. So I'm one of the guys that started Mondays Don't Suck also.
Yeah.
And so MDS had a thing with Hot Import Nights, and that was the first and only time that will ever happen.
Gotcha.
But they, the Hot Import Nights would go behind my back and trash me to the MDS, the other guy that runs MDS.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, and so I would always hear about it, and I would say, I told the other guy, I said, hey man, if you want to be a part of it, that's fine. Make sure they pay you up front.
Yeah.
But I can't be a part of it.
Yeah.
And so he said, okay. So that was the one and only time they did it. But they paid, and when they paid me too.
I bet they didn't know that.
They didn't know that, but I got my little ounce of blood.
There you go. There you go. Well, let's talk about this 350Z. So I know you've had it for a while, but when do you remember when you originally purchased it?
Yeah, so I bought this on Memorial Day weekend
Okay.
in 2012.
Oh, so you've had it for a while.
Yeah, so 9 years.
Wow. You're coming
9
up on a 9-year anniversary,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I bought it. It was a 2-owner car. The guy that I bought it from was about to go through a divorce.
Yeah.
And his wife at the time told him, "You can have me or you can have the car." So he sold the car, but it was bone stock.
Yeah.
It just had like a set of 19-inch Axis wheels on it.
Gotcha.
So I drove the car and I liked it and ended up buying it. I way overpaid for what it's worth now.
Yeah.
Because now you can pick them up for like $4,000. But it was, I think it was a good purchase. Went way overboard with it.
Yeah.
I didn't like how slow it was. After I got it home, I was like, yeah, it's not as fast as I thought it was.
Right.
So pulled the engine out.
Nothing wrong with it?
Huh?
Nothing
wrong with it. Pulled the engine out, did a Brian Crowler 4.2 liter stroker kit
Yeah.
on it, beefed up the transmission a little bit, and just basically started reinforcing everything from the clutch back, except for the axles and the diff.
Yeah.
And that ended up coming back to bite me later on down the road. But yeah, runs on race gas 90% of the time.
Yeah.
But right now, race gas is pretty expensive, so it's just got 93 in it right now. Yeah, it makes 460 to the wheels, a little over
Oh,
460
wow.
to the wheels on race gas.
That's
And
pretty
then-
impressive, actually. So how much does it weigh?
Like wet weight, I think is 3,200 pounds or something like that.
It's more horsepower than I was expecting, actually.
Yeah,
That's pretty impressive.
it's pretty good for what it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
it's a short wheelbase car.
Yeah.
Never gets traction. Not the average VQ fart cannon.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it certainly looks sharp. Do you ever do any racing with it?
Not really.
Like autocross or road course stuff, anything?
When I first got it, we ran it down the strip at Yellow Belly.
Yeah.
And that was the only time I ever really did it.
Yeah.
Other than that, I just kind of mess with people on the highway every once in a while, you know. Hurt feelings here and there.
There you go. There you go. And so the engine rebuild was your first mod?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And then what's tell me about everything else as far as like the cosmetics, the wheels.
Yeah, so it's vinyl wrapped.
Okay.
And that wrap's been on there for like 6-7 years. It's got CCW LM20s, or 18 by 10.5 in the front, 18 by 11.5 in the rear. Which I recently tried to get rid of them, and nobody wants CCWs anymore, I guess. So that's fine. Then it's got a Big Country Labs carbon fiber wing. Good friends with Colin, the owner of Big Country Labs. So he hooked me up with that Big Johnny. It's on coilover, it's on BCs. Yeah, a bunch of other stupid stuff. It's got a custom headliner in it that me and my now wife did together.
Very cool.
And then just the normal hot boy stuff. You know,
Yeah.
quick release steering wheel,
Hot boy
the
stuff.
stupid shifter. It's
Yeah.
got a Sparco seat in it. Shit like that.
Very cool.
Carbon fiber hood, bunch of other dumb shit.
What about any future mods?
I think the most possible future mod is going to be selling it.
So you're looking to get rid of it, huh?
Yeah, I think I'm at a point now where, I can't really do anything else to it.
Yeah.
So I've had it for a long time. I'll be okay with getting rid of it. Maybe get a Corvette.
No sentimental value?
Not really.
No?
I've had it long enough, you know.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll get a Corvette. Maybe I'll get a Skyline. Who knows? I tried to buy a Supra at TSP Slam once, and the guy wasn't having it. So
What kind of Corvette you interested in?
like a C6
Okay.
ZR1.
I gotcha. Is it just you want something faster, or have you always liked the Vets?
Yeah, I think I've always had like a soft spot in my heart for vets.
Yeah.
but well, only C6s though, because I think C5s look weird. Sorry. And I don't really like the C7s. C8s aren't really my thing either.
Yeah.
So I feel like C8s were poorly designed in the rear. They kind of like ran out of budget or something in the rear. And they said, let's put a Camaro rear end on it.
Yeah.
You know. But who knows? We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm pressing my wife more and more every day about letting me get a Harley. So that's kind of like number one vehicle on the list right now.
A Harley?
Yeah.
Yeah. Harley would be cool. You do much riding?
Yeah, so I used to. Like when I lived in Arizona, me and my brother would ride all the time. So, but who knows?
Who knows, man? Who
gotta
knows?
gotta make sure the wife's happy first.
Yes, absolutely. And you're recently married, right?
Yeah, I got married in October 2020.
Yeah.
So we had a COVID wedding.
Yeah.
But yeah, recently married. We've been together for 9 years.
Oh wow.
So like we've been together for about as long as I've had this car. I bought the car like probably right before me and her started dating.
Yeah.
And we got married in October, and it's been the best decision that we made. We were engaged for a long time, and then finally we just decided, hey, let's just do it. Like,
sure.
We don't need to have 100 people at our wedding.
Yep.
25 people is fine.
Yeah.
So we had a nice small wedding that was a lot better than we could have imagined.
You know, sometimes I feel like the intimate weddings are just better because you get to socialize with your closest family members and your friends.
Yeah.
Versus like, okay, if you have 200, 300 people at your wedding, who are you really gonna get to hang out with and say hi to, you know?
Yeah, it definitely afforded me
job.
It afforded me a lot more opportunities too. Like I got to build our entire dance floor. And so I built a dance floor and then encased the entire thing in lights.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was like you were dancing in a room that was filled with, basically it looked like starlight.
Oh, that's really cool. It's pretty creative.
Yeah. It's the advantage of being a car guy. We're all creative,
That's
right?
That's true.
We all have to find solutions to dumb problems that we bring on ourselves.
Outside of zip ties and duct tape,
Yep.
you know, sometimes. So does she share the same passion as you as far as cars and stuff?
So when we first started dating, not at all.
Not at all.
You couldn't find her dead at a car meet. If she was there against her own will, and I usually had to give up something in the process to get her there, right? But now she's a lot more open to it.
Yeah.
She's okay with me selling the car. Originally, she didn't want me to.
Yeah.
But now she's like, yeah. She doesn't want me to get a Corvette, though, because she doesn't like Corvettes.
Yeah.
She said maybe a CTSV would be okay, but...
Those are pretty cool, though.
I mean, yeah, essentially, CTSV is like a dad vet, right?
Yeah.
So, maybe.
That's true. You like the Chevy S's?
The SS?
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked on one before I got over here. Yeah, they're pretty cool, but I just don't know about owning a four-door, right?
Oh, I got you.
I'm a big coupe guy.
Yeah.
So four doors are hit or miss for me.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Definitely couldn't own like a four-door Skyline. They're not that attractive to me.
Gotcha.
I think like the coupes are way nicer.
Yeah.
So if I do end up getting a Skyline, I'll probably just buy like a GTST coupe.
Yeah.
So I could not feel bad about beating the shit out of it.
Yeah. Right? Now you mentioned earlier having started Mondays Don't Suck being part of that, you know?
Yeah.
So obviously that's just one event among many in DFW. Do you tend to go to a lot of car meets or car events anymore?
Yeah, so I used to go all of the time.
Yeah.
Pretty much every day you could find me at a different car meet, different car show.
Yeah.
I used to do all the car shows too, like Week Fest, Hot Import Nights,
right.
Stance Nation, Spocom, all that stuff. And I used to travel with my car and go to car shows, and then like the fender rolling business started taking way off.
Right.
And I started having less and less time to put towards the car and put towards like shows and meets. So I kind of dropped off the face of the earth when it came to shows and meets. But when it comes to the Mondays Don't Suck, I do my best to be there every single time. But that's a lot of that has to do with the fact that me and Victor, the other guy that runs it, like we're like best friends.
Yeah.
And I'll do whatever I can to make sure that Mondays Don't Suck always thrives.
Yeah.
Like, we'll do whatever. So if you show up to Mondays Don't Suck and you are those people that are like racing and rev bombing your shit and like doing burnouts and shit, don't fucking show up anymore. I don't want you there. If you're like those VQ kids that come and like, check out my flame map, and you're like rev bombing, get the fuck out, dude.
Yeah. That's
why we charge now.
No, it makes perfect sense. Victor reached out to me. He's like, hey, we're bringing it back. And it's honestly, as far as a local meet or a car event, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It's always well organized. I like how they have like a separate section up front.
Well organized.
It is well organized. You have like an entrance, you have police presence. So, and it makes a difference. If something's well organized, people will want to go to it, So yeah, we just recently communicated. I like Victor, he's a great guy. Gosh, I mean, when did you guys start that? It's been 5 years? 4 years?
It's probably been 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I remember our first one was in the dead of winter, and there was like 25 cars that showed up.
Yeah.
And we could literally fit everybody in the front parking lot, right in front of the fence.
Yeah.
And then the next one, there was like 50 cars.
Yeah.
And the next one, I think there was like 100-something cars, something like that. And then I think by the 7th or 8th one, there was over 1,000 cars.
Yeah.
And it just exploded, and we couldn't even contain it anymore.
Yeah.
We're like, what do we do with all these people?
It's interesting because for probably 2.5, almost 3 years of running Texas Show Promoters, I would promote all the events, but I didn't have time to go to them.
Yeah.
I didn't have time. So a lot of times people didn't know who TSP was.
Yeah.
I wasn't posting videos of myself or anything, but I was sharing. We had, a decent following 3 years in. And so sometimes, the word of mouth helps, and then having that kind of content and the traffic and everything, I don't know. It just seems like some of the events, and I think the reason why that one grew so much is because it was well organized.
Yeah.
It just the layout, the entrance, like it's well done. It's well done.
We used to give out we still give out cool trophies, but I used to make all the trophies.
Yeah.
And I always made them out of old car parts.
Right.
Because I've been to shows and you give these shows, you pay 50, 60, 70, 100 bucks sometimes.
And they give you a plaque or like a trophy.
And you get like a $5 trophy that they made out of plastic or something. And that's boring to me.
Yeah.
Why would I want that? I'm a car guy. I spend all this time and money on my car. Like, give me something, if I win, give me something that is mutual to what I've done.
Right.
Because a plaque or a piece of plastic doesn't really mean much to something. But if it's something cool, like made out of car parts, you'll want to display it. Like I made one where I gutted a Dayton 100 spoke, right? Which, by the way, if you gut a Dayton 100 spoke, people in the lowrider community will come after you. But I gutted a Dayton 100 spoke, and I painted the inside of it this like translucent blue. But before I did it, I took a flap disc and ground down all the chroming and just made it like bare metal with the flap disc.
Yeah.
And then painted it this translucent blue. And then me and my friend Seth cut a little slit in the top of it, and we drove a sword through the middle of the wheel.
Yeah.
So we called it the Excalibur trophy.
Yeah.
And we like bolted the sword to the base of the wheel. And then we lit the whole thing up.
Yeah.
And so it was like this lit up trophy. I think Chris Garza has it.
Yeah.
But that was my favorite trophy that I ever made.
You have pictures of that? I gotta see that. I gotta see that when the show's over. That's pretty cool. And then you guys have done skateboards there, right, for trophies?
Yeah.
What other types of trophies have you
Yeah,
done?
when we were signed with Mountain Dew, that was what I did. I did skateboards, and then around the front of them was a license plate with MDS carved into it.
Yeah.
And then there was always a Mountain Dew bottle that they would give us for display.
Oh, very cool.
So we'd mount those. Now we do skateboards that are all screen printed.
Yeah.
Let's say Mondays Don't Suck. What else? I've done like camshafts as trophies.
Yeah.
So I work a lot on 350Zs, G35s, G37s, 370Zs. And a lot of times I do the Loud Boy mods on them. So we do cat deletes.
Yeah.
And they don't ever want to keep the cats.
Right.
So I just keep them. So I cut the shields off of them, and I'd always shine them up and use those for trophies too.
There you go.
So it's like a $400 trophy that you could win.
Now, outside of Mondays Don't Suck, what would you say? I assume that's probably one of your favorites because you're involved in it.
Yeah.
So, what is your next favorite event?
Probably TSP Slam. So that.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So, I mean, anytime you get that many vehicles in one space, it's definitely like hard to control. But it was TSP Slam was like, it was pretty well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed it. We went. I mean, we were there as a podcast. Yeah. And we did a live podcast there.
Yeah, which I thought was really cool, actually. I thought that was awesome.
And so we did that at another show. And it's a little bit of a headache, but we get it done.
Now, did you get a chance to actually walk around, or did you?
Yeah, so we walked around. We walked around as a group, and then my wife came later, and me and her walked around, and she pointed all the pretty cars that she likes and stuff like that. She likes everything that's expensive.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I can't fault her. She has good taste.
Well, she married you, right?
She's blind. Yeah. But yeah, I really like Slam. I'm ready for it to come back.
Well, speaking of that, so the reason why we haven't made any announcements for next year is because I'm waiting for Texas Motor Speedway to get their NASCAR schedule.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they're waiting for.
Yeah.
And what transpired last year with COVID, obviously I had to cancel. Then we got around to this year, and, unfortunately, I had gotten accustomed to working with a certain team at Texas Motor Speedway. When COVID happened and they had a lot of cancellations, I think either they had layoffs or people left. I'm not really sure. But everybody that I worked with before, they're all gone. They're all gone. Yeah. So it's like starting ground zero. It's like, you don't know me, I don't know you. So, it would be different if I could go, hey, David, can I get on the schedule for next year? Sure, no problem. Let me look, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's just not that easy, So I think it's a learning curve for them. This year, there just was not enough time to do it. And I felt like, as far as the masks are concerned, I did not want to host an event if masks were mandatory.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to do it. That needed to be lifted. And, obviously right now with Greg Abbott, we should be solid for next year.
Yeah.
At least that's the hope. If we do bring it back, my conversation with Texas Motor Speedway was I wanted Father's Day weekend and a 2-day event.
Oh, that would be nice.
So that would be the goal.
It's a good, cheap Father's Day present.
Well, we did a Father's Day car show at Texas Live. And, man, the turnout was absolutely incrable. It was family friendly. Like, it was amazing.
I went to that with my stepdad.
Yeah, you were there. Who,
by the way, like, he loved that. That was like the greatest gift I could give him.
Yeah.
So if you could start doing that again.
Yeah. Well, what we would like to do, because we've done the cruises, we've done car shows, we've done car meets, and we did TSP Slam. There's so many things going on behind the scenes of Texas Show Promoters that we don't even really talk about, we don't get into. But the main thing is Slam I want to see annually. Once we get back on track, it will be an annual event. As far as the other things, I don't think we will do the smaller car shows. I don't think we'll do the cruises anymore. I don't think we'll do car meets anymore. There's plenty of events out there We can help promote them. We can attend, but the amount of time and effort and staff it takes to put these things on, it's overwhelming.
Do you think that you've grown too large now to do the smaller events? Because when you have something like Slam, where you have over 1,000 vehicles,
yeah,
how do you downsize to a 100 vehicle show?
It's I think
Pre-registration approval?
Yeah, right. I think for me, it's the Slam thing is a little bit more rewarding for me.
Yeah.
Just because, and I don't mean financially, because it has not been financially rewarding 2018 or 19. Because I don't think people realize you're renting out Texas Motor Speedway, like the largest automotive venue in DFW. It is a huge expense, police presence, EMTs, like there's staff. And I mean, we're not talking volunteers, staff. There's entertainment, zero sponsors. Like it's a huge bill to fit, you know? But I feel like it's more rewarding because that show really breaks all the barriers, every single barrier. Having the lowrider community come in and just cruise down the main road, and you know, you're seeing like stanced out imports, you're seeing street trucks, mini trucks, like it's just cool, you know? And I love all the import shows. I love all the Volkswagen shows, the lowrider shows. And there's a need for all of those events. But to have everybody come together, that to me is just that's rewarding, you know. So
I think that's why I liked Slam so much, is because I got to see everything I like.
Yeah.
Because I don't just like Japanese cars.
Absolutely.
Right? My first car was a '96 Cobra. Like
yeah.
I love everything.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm looking to get a Corvette.
Yeah.
You know, I like dumped C10s too, and I'm cool with lowriders. I'm trying to get into like the donk market.
Are you really? Yeah.
To like work on donks all the time.
That'd be cool.
But I mean, I like everything about the car community, not just one small piece. So whenever you go to Slam, you get everything in one spot. It's like going to a grocery store. You know, I can get everything I need.
And you know, I don't know what it was. I think I announced on February 6th, and that, Ben, this is on a whim. Like, I'm just like, I'm going to throw a meet at Texas Motor Speedway. I'm just going to throw a meet. Like, it's like no big deal. Just going to throw a meet. And then I made the announcement on February 6th, 2018. I'm like, what did I just put that out there? So I had locked in the venue. I hadn't had anything. Yeah. And so I reach out. I'm like, all right, I'll lock in the date in 90 days. Now, I don't think you came to the first one, right?
No.
Okay. So in 90 days, I had all the entertainment, had all the staff, you know, put everything together, and our first event, 2,339 vehicles come out, which is just, what? So, you know, I was thoroughly happy with the outcome. You know, and I think we put on the advertisements, we're shooting for 5,000 cars. Honestly, I thought we could pull it off. I'm not going to lie. Because we, you know, even at that time in 2018, we had a decent following, lots of car people in the community, and because it was open to everybody. But, you know, with a new show, you don't know what to expect. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be, tell me about it when you're done, you know. But, and then 2019, I think we had like 3,300 vehicles, so it's grown. I think if we do it again, though, I think I would just probably cap it at like 3,000 vehicles. Because
is that the first time you've ever released that number?
No, we've released the number before.
You have?
Yeah. 2,339 the first year, and 2,329 the first year, and then 3,228 or something the next year. So almost 1,000 more, you know. We don't post a lot on our Instagram page just because there's not a lot going on with TSP Slam right now, but we've posted on there before about it. Okay. You know, a lot of people always wondered. So, but yeah, just a great venue, great turnout, get to see everybody, like you said, all the cars and the people and stuff, and so it'll be good once we bring it back. I'm excited about that one. So that'll be good.
I'm down for it, man.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back for the podcast.
Maybe I'll
if you want to do that, or
Yeah.
maybe you'll have a different vehicle by then.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah. By then, Jesus Christ, man. I've been on and off about selling this car for forever. If you
Yeah.
listen to our podcast, like every episode, I want this, I want this, I
Yeah.
want this, I want this. It's something different every time. I want an RX-7, I want a Supra, I want a Skyline.
Isn't that every auto enthusiast
I know.
though? Because I mean, I have a list, a running list. Well, I've owned it. Okay, I sold it. I'm gonna buy something else on the list.
I started looking at C10s the other day, like looking for like a 71 C10.
Yeah.
And I was like, should I get a C10? And then I was like, well, if I buy a C10, it's going to be automatic. Do I want to drive an automatic as like my fun car? Or do I want to just buy something that's a manual? So then I go back and forth with that battle too.
Yeah. Well, it's impressive you've had this thing 9 years, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is like the longest anybody's ever owned a 350Z.
Yeah,
Most of them usually wreck them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kids, man.
You need
Honda
to
Civic kids buying these cars.
figure out what you're going to do, list it, and get your money. And they're great cars.
Yeah.
They're absolutely great cars.
I don't think anybody's going to pay me 15 grand for a 350Z, you know? When you can buy them for like 4 grand.
Probably not. Probably not. You can always try, though.
Maybe I should just take this engine out. I'll just take the engine out, and I'll put a stock one in.
There you go.
Then I'll just part out my stroker kit or something. Want to go fast and spend a lot of stupid money on nothing? Buy this stroker kit.
Well, we talked about your car. We talked about the car scene a little bit. What is there anything in the car scene that's your favorite? Is it the cars? Is it the people? What do you like about the car scene?
Man, the car scene is a place where you can be anybody.
Yeah.
And, well, okay, let me rephrase this. Because when I came into the car scene, you can be anybody from any walk of life, and you're automatically understood because you all have the exact same passion, right?
Yeah.
It's just a car.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that brings you together, and then you figure the rest out on your own.
That's true.
So like that part's cool. I think there's a lot of dumb stuff that happens now in the car community.
Yeah.
That kind of taints a lot of that.
Yeah.
But real car enthusiasts, that's what I like about the car community is you can go somewhere if you have a question about something and somebody will help you.
Yeah.
And just because I don't know you doesn't mean that I can't help you. Or, you can just be anybody and automatically you have a friend.
Yeah. That is true. That is true. I feel like the car community is unlike anything else out there. You can join a bunch of groups and this and that, sports even. It's just not I don't feel it's the same. It doesn't really compare to anything else. You are very correct, and I agree that everybody's very helpful. They're usually pretty open. You pull into a parking lot, they want you to get out the car. They want you to come over, talk, and so pretty easy going.
Being a car guy is like you automatically have the easiest icebreaker, right? What you got done to your car?
Absolutely.
That's what everybody wants to know. What you got done to your car? Oh, well, let me tell you this. How much time you got, guy? Because I got about an hour's worth of explaining to do.
Yeah, everybody likes talking about their car, that's for sure. They can rattle everything off they've done, and that is true.
Unless you're a takeover guy, then fuck you.
Well, then you didn't do anything to your car. You're just whipping donuts. And,
you just stole your parents' fucking V6 Charger and trying to whip donies in the middle of an intersection.
Yeah,
I hate those kids, man.
It is unfortunate, man. I mean, it's so Nick and I talk about takeovers probably way too much, way too much. But it is definitely a problem, and I am not against whipping donuts at all. You go whip donuts, you have your fun, but do it in some isolated, remote area, not in an intersection, not on a highway, not where you're impeding traffic. You know what I mean? And certainly don't, go out there and stay back, and I get it. There's the whole hashtag, get back or get smacked or whatever. I think it's dumb. because people are getting run over, people are getting killed, maimed, losing arms, broken legs. Like, I mean, you know, it's terrible, and we've all been there. But when you're in your teens and 20s, you just feel invincible, right? You feel like that shit's never going to happen to me.
Oh, man.
Until it does.
Let me tell you something.
Until it does. Yeah, right?
I'm 30 years old now, okay? And I know I look young and healthy, but I'm not, okay? I'm fucked up, man. Your body's not a rubber band, okay? Nothing goes back to normal anymore. Yeah. Like, I learned the hard way when I was in the Army, right? That you are not invincible. And the things that you do in your life, everything has a consequence, right? So you go whip these donuts in your mom's V6 Charger that she got for $30,000 at an 18% interest rate, and then you fuck her Charger up.
Yep.
Well, who's paying for it? Your mom's paying for it, not you, because you're probably some 16-year-old idiot, and you don't have any money.
Yeah.
So then your mom's pissed at you. Everybody whoever's car you ran into, they're pissed at you.
Oh, we've all seen the videos where, which doesn't even make sense to me. Two of them run into each other. Yeah. And then they want to get out and fight. It's like, you guys were both in the circle. Like, it's his fault more than your fault. Like, you guys are both at fault. Or they'll pull people out of their cars, like passerbys. Oh yeah, and beat them up, or beat up to vandalize their car, or shoot at them. Yeah, like some of the stuff
for
is
what?
Just
because they're trying to go through the area that you're blocking because it's a fucking road.
Absolutely, you know it is. And I think being there and taking over an intersection or whatever it is, they certainly don't think about the man's wife who's maybe in the hospital having a baby. Yeah. Or I got a family emergency, or I'm late to work and I'm going to get fired because I'm late to work. I'm going to be 30 minutes. Like, they don't think about any of that, you know? And that's why I say, I don't mind the donuts. Like, I love doing donuts. I like, you know, the burnouts and stuff. I do. But just pick a different location. Like, do it somewhere else. I mean, know where you pick is going to be legal, but not in an intersection, certainly not on a highway. Like, you guys can do better than that. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's you know, it affects a lot of people. And you know, running Texas show promoters with my son, like the messages we get, and you know, they're ruining the car community. I'm like, listen, you know, and I'm going to say this 100 times, but if the police and media would actually report it correctly and talk about it correctly, like, these are takeovers. This is not street racing. Yeah. This is not a car meet. This is not a stunt show. This is none of those things. This is a takeover. Report it correctly. Because then if the police officer goes into a car meet, you shouldn't harass the people hanging out, having a good parking lot to just chill and not cause any issues, you know? But it's unfortunate. It has, in some cases, it has a trickle-down effect.
I turn away people that go to that shit. Yeah. So I do a lot of fender rolling, like a lot of it. By the time this comes out, I'll probably be at like 3,000. Yeah. But like I screen the people that I work on their car. Yeah. And I have the luxury now to say no to whoever I want, and it doesn't affect me at all. Right. Like, I'm booking appointments 3 weeks to a month in advance. Right. So I screen all these people that are messaging me on a regular basis, and there's been a few of them that, hey man, can you roll my fenders? I'm rubbing pretty bad. It's hitting the tire. It's chopping it up. And I'll like look at their profile and they'll say, oh, what's it? TS, NLS or whatever the stupid swing meet or takeover shit is. And it'll be like them doing a donut, or like they're recording. Like, even if you're not a part of it, I agree. And you're out there recording it, I'll tell you, no, sorry, man, I can't work on your car. Well, my friend told me that you're like the best fender roller in town. Yeah. I am, but I'm not going to work on your car. Yeah. Well, why not? Well, because you go to these stupid ass meets.
What are their responses?
Yeah. Well, what the fuck? And it's like, dude, ask somebody that fucking cares, because I don't care what your opinion is. Like, tell everybody in the world that I was an asshole to you, but show them these messages
Yeah.
so that they know why I was an asshole to
Right,
you.
we're an asshole. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that, man. You know, like if you don't support it, you don't support it. So, I mean, it's it's kind of like before we started recording, I was telling you about that guy reaching out, and then he changed everything. Now, I will say, I am intrigued on having him on. I am. But mark my words, we will have a discussion about takeovers, and I really want to see like what's your input. Do you have any understanding of what you're doing? You know, the effect it's having on the people around you, that blocking the intersections, and you know, what was it, a few weeks ago we posted like almost a public service announcement video or something, right? Some 54-year-old lady got shot. She approached somebody during the takeovers. Here comes the gun. Then she gets shot, you know? Well, she shouldn't have been there. Whatever. Like, there's no excuse.
Yeah, I saw people trying to justify it like that too. She should have minded her own business. You're interrupting her business.
That's correct.
Like, if you're defending somebody getting shot because they're confronting you about you doing something wrong, then you obviously know that you're in the wrong.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That was a heated comment section.
Oh, I bet.
It was heated comment section.
Yeah,
so.
I put out a thing once asking for the guy to come on our podcast, and I was going to talk to him, and I never got a response. So then I messaged him. Yeah. Right? I messaged the account where all this shit started. Yeah. And I was like, hey, man, I run this automotive podcast. It's geared towards, automotive enthusiasts. We want to have you on and talk about these takeover meets that you guys have. Right. And we want to learn more about it, but we're going to have a healthy discussion about it because we want to know more. Yeah. And all I got was a read receipt, and that was it. And I was like, dude. So then I found out the kid is 17 years old. Yeah. So obviously he's probably not going to have time off from school to fucking come be on our podcast. So his opinion really is kind of irrelevant at this point. But I found out he's 17 years old, and I was like, yeah, fuck this kid, man.
Well, you gotta figure that most of them are probably 16 to 21. I mean, if you're older than 21 and you're still out there doing donuts and shit, I mean, doing takeovers.
Yeah, man.
Grow the fuck up.
If you're 40 years old, fucking swinging a donut in a shitty fucking like Mazda 6 or something like that, you know, go home, dude. Your fucking wife's pissy. You took her car.
Oh, man. Lots of laughs. All right, Ben. So we've obviously talked a little bit about your car, the car scene, but let's talk a little bit more about you. As far as the cars and the passion, right? So when did you know? You're 30 now. When did you know you had a passion for cars?
When I was maybe 13. Yeah. 12 or 13, something like that. So what got me into cars was there was this kid that I talk about this on my podcast, but there was this kid I went to school with in middle school. And now he's like gone on to be, I don't know, he fucking races cars now. He's been on like Street Outlaws and shit like that. But like me and this kid fought each other at one point over a girl, and then he ended up getting together with this girl I used to date who got my name tattooed on her, and then he had a couple kids with her too. So it was a whole debacle. Yeah. But fuck that kid. But he knew a bunch about cars, and I didn't know anything about cars in middle school. And his brother drove this Camaro SS. Yeah. And you could hear him down the block when he'd come to get him. And it would just chop, like, chop, hardcore chop, like a sushi chef, man. Yeah. And I always thought the car was cool. And then one day he asked me, like, a car question. And I just didn't know the answer because I didn't know anything about cars. And I was like, he made fun of me. And I was like, well, fuck this kid, man. I'm going to go home and I'm going to learn everything I can about cars. So then I started, like, buying Haynes manuals from AutoZone. Yeah. And going through, like, Haynes manuals and, like, learning how to, like, take apart cars and put all the shit back together. And
That's wild, man.
Yeah. Then I started like doing research on the internet because the internet started becoming a thing.
Yeah.
And it ended up just growing this vast knowledge about cars. And I'm pretty sure I know more about cars than that kid now. So fuck you, dude.
Well, that's pretty cool. Just from that, it's amazing. One little thing in somebody's life can change the course. You know, that's pretty cool. What was your first car?
96 Cobra.
No, that you mentioned that earlier. 96 Cobra.
My first car that I drove that I didn't own. My mom had a 2000 Jeep Cherokee Sport.
Yeah.
And so I drove that thing around. That thing was pretty cool. It had like Steelies on it.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it was pretty dope little pimp wagon, man.
Yeah.
The inline 4-liter.
Yeah.
Drank gas so bad.
Oh, yeah.
But taught me how to save money. Taught me how to drive, and I went on and buy my own car.
And then the Cobra. Did you do anything with it?
Nah, I blew the motor up in it.
So you did something with it.
Yeah. So blew the motor up in it. Bought that car when I was 16 or 17.
Yeah.
And I had it for, I think I had that car until I was 20. And then traded it for a Honda Civic that we ended up boosting and slamming. And then I joined the Army and used my signing bonus to buy this car.
Oh, I gotcha.
And so I had them both at the same time.
Yeah.
And my Civic was faster than this. And I think that was like the trigger where I was like, I'm not going to get beat by Civic.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to do something to this car.
And then you, did you do anything to the Civic while you had it?
Yeah, so it was boosted. It had a B18 B1 in it.
Okay.
And then like a shitty eBay turbo on it.
There you go.
I ended up selling it to my friend for $1,800, or if the Dallas tax office is listening, I sold it to him for $900.
Yeah, gotcha.
And it was nice, man. Like it had 2-step. It was a beast. But sold it to him, and then he ended up blowing the car up a couple months later because he would drive around everywhere, and every stoplight he was at, he would just sit on the 2-step. And so eventually he ended up like blowing the seals on the turbo, and then he blew the whole engine up.
So you mentioned the kid in your school who asked you a question about cars.
Yeah.
Was there anybody in your family that was also into cars?
No.
So nobody at all?
No. So my dad. I'm a product of a one parent home, right?
I gotcha.
So was raised by a single mom, and then when I had time to spend with my dad, would hang out with my dad. My dad drove a Chevelle, and he was into cars, but I never saw my dad long enough to
Gotcha.
like grow any of that. So it never really, nothing was gained from that. But being raised by a single mom, if, this contributed to it also. If you wanted a car, we couldn't afford to fix it, so
Right.
you needed to learn how to fix it
Right.
yourself. So, that was the big thing about me buying like the Haynes manuals from AutoZone.
Right.
Like, walking home from school, stopping at AutoZone, and buying a Haynes manual for like 1990 to 1995 Ford Mustang Haynes manual.
Yeah.
And then, going through all that just to figure out how to fix a car that I wanted,
Did they offer shop at your school, like auto shop or anything?
No.
No.
Well, I take that back. They did, but it was like an after-school thing.
Oh, okay.
And
gotcha.
I couldn't do an after-school thing
Yeah.
because I already played a sport. So, and I played sports because my mom worked all the time.
Yeah.
And so if I was at a sport, she didn't have to watch me or
Makes
get off
sense.
work early.
Makes sense.
So,
Well, being in the car scene so long, are there any influencers or any celebrities that stand out to you that you like? Maybe on YouTube, or do you follow anybody that?
I don't know, man. There's
There's a lot. There's a lot
So
now.
I don't do like the whole YouTube car guy thing.
Yeah.
It's not really like my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Because I'm older than a lot of these guys. I've been doing this a lot longer than a lot of them, and they also have a lot more money to just throw at stuff than what the average car guy does. So it's not realistic for an average car guy.
The average person, yeah.
I think if anything, like the only person that I would kind of look up to is like Jesse James.
Yeah.
And not even from like a car standpoint, but just from a fabrication standpoint.
Sure.
Right? Like the guy is the ultimate fabricator. He can make anything. I used to watch like all the Chopper Showdown.
Yep.
On Discovery when I was younger, and I was just amazed at how he would like he or like Indian Larry would build motorcycles.
Right.
And they would make these like crazy like down tubes out of chains, shit like that.
Yeah.
Who does that?
Yeah. Did you ever get into the Monster Garage thing?
Yeah.
So
then they brought Monster Garage back.
Now, is it just YouTube, or is it, because I heard they brought it back, but I don't watch TV like hardly ever.
Yeah.
So
I think it's on a network.
Okay.
But I definitely gotta like double check.
Gotcha.
But they have brought it back officially.
It's cool. He's in Austin.
Yeah. That's another thing too. Is like he left California, and he was like, I'm gonna move to Texas where I can be free and part of like the free part of the United States.
Right.
But does he count as like one of those people that are ruining Texas? No, because he came before the flood, right?
Before all the transplants.
Yeah. And he started businesses in Texas.
Yeah.
Right? So he owns Austin Speed Shop.
Right.
He's got JJFU, which is the firearms company.
Right.
Now he's got Jesse James Cutlery.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know about the cutlery part. Yeah.
Because he makes, he made all those Damascus steel blades and stuff like that.
Right.
So now he makes like pizza cutters and kitchen knives and stuff like that, Damascus steel.
It's incredible.
Yep. And then he still owns West Coast Chopper.
That is incredible. Pretty diverse guy, but I'm also a fan of Jesse James. Anybody who works with their hands and can fabricate and build stuff, to me, like, that's truly amazing.
Oh yeah.
That's truly amazing. That's a gift,
That's why I wanted to like build all those trophies for Mondays Don't Suck.
Right.
Because it afforded me an opportunity to just unleash a creative beast in me.
Sure.
Let it run wild.
Yeah.
There was no limits. I could build whatever I wanted because
Whatever you
nobody was
wanted.
going to tell me, oh, it's too big, or oh, it's, there's no money for this. There's plenty of money because it comes out of my pocket.
Right.
In case you're wondering, I paid for all those trophies.
Is there any one car that you've had in the past that you regret or you wish you had back?
Probably my Mustang.
Yeah.
Every once in a while I miss that car. But that's the only one. Like the Civic, I could care less about it.
Yeah.
But I haven't had like a long string of cars either. Right?
That's true.
So my truck, I love my truck.
Yeah. The old reliable.
Yeah. It's quiet, man. When I went on a test drive, I told the girl, I said, I think there's something wrong with this truck. She was like, well, what is it? It's quiet. Like something's gonna break on it.
Yeah. Well, we're going to end with this. So this is one of my favorite questions to ask because this is so, it could be instrumental to the young people getting their first car, wanting to customize. Do you have any, having built a car over the last 9 years, customized it, do you have any advice or words of wisdom to somebody just getting their first car? What should they do? How should they go about it?
Yeah, just do what you want to do.
Yeah.
All the other shit that people talk about in the car community, don't get reps and don't do this, don't do that. Mind your fucking business, dude. Just do whatever you want to do to your car. You'll figure it out along the way.
Yeah.
Right? Like you'll develop your taste as you grow as an enthusiast. But just do whatever you want to do. Don't rice your shit out, but
just don't do that.
Yeah. Like don't do tasteful stuff that is what suits you.
Right.
if you want to put reps on your car, put reps on your car. Who cares, man?
Yeah.
You know, don't buy like those shitty eBay wings and put them on your car though. Because every time I see one of those, I take a video of it and I send it to the guy that owns Big Country Labs, and I'm like, look at this fucking idiot. Why doesn't he just go to crunkyourtrunk.com and buy one of your stupid ass wings?
That's funny.
Free
Well,
plug.
little business plug. Well, Ben, thank you so much for being on.
Yeah, thanks
Appreciate it.
Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely,
Can
absolutely.
you move closer to me though?
Yeah, that was a little too far. Yeah.
Driving this death trap 45 minutes.
Well, I mean, it was worth the drive.
Yeah.
You know,
Just drive back in the rain.
Oh, I know. You'll have to let me know that you got home all right, man.
Sitting in a picture of my car sitting in its lonely little spot in the garage.
There you go. Well, thank you so much for tuning in and listening. Hope you've enjoyed our podcast. If you'd like to watch the video version and see details of Ben's 350Z, make sure to check out our YouTube channel, Texas Show Promoters. Texas Show Promoters is the #1 source for all auto event info and also the largest community of auto enthusiasts in the state of Texas, with over 80,000 combined followers. Make sure to give Texas Show Promoters a follow on Instagram and Facebook and never miss an event again. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast, as we'll have new episodes every Friday with some very cool builds and even cooler owners. If you have a custom vehicle, live in the DFW area, and would like to tell your story, please reach out and let us know. Maybe it'll be your name on our marquee next time. Peace.
Stop going to takeovers.